Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about how you can earn a passive income that can allow you to live purely off of dividends. I just gotta say for a second, why did we not learn about this in high school? Seriously, we should have had our teachers come into the class, bang on the desk and say, hey, you guys need to listen up because today what we're gonna talk about is how you can actually earn a dividend income by starting your investments today that someday you could either not have to work, retire early, or have a nice side income thanks to dividend income. Where were they on that? No. Instead, we were learning about Pythagorean's theorem. I don't even remember how to say that right. That's how much that stuck with me. Pythagorean? Anybody remember that? So if you're ready to make some dividend income, don't be greedy. Tap that like button down below. This actually helps YouTube push this video out to more people so they can learn things that they should have learned in high school. So whether you want to retire early, such as the FIRE movement, where you want to retire at the age of 30 or 40 or something like that, or you just want to have an extra set of income, which is always nice to have, or you want to have that power and that ability to someday just quit your job and live specifically off of dividends. Whichever your goal is, we're gonna break it all down today. Now before we get started, we gotta have some assumptions on this. So I'm gonna talk about $60,000 as my benchmark. That is the example I'm gonna share with you today in running some formulas and some calculations that you can take advantage of immediately. But there's gonna be something that you need to do right now. A very quick thought. What is your monthly expenses? That's the very first thing you need to think about. When you look long into the future or even short into the future, how much money could you live off of per year to feel comfortable and feel satisfied with your life? For some people who are living off of 10-cent coffees, maybe only $30,000 a year. For some people that want to have a bigger house, maybe live on a cruise boat, like, your boy would totally live on a cruise boat. Or you have a big family you want to watch after. Maybe you need $100,000 a year. But for today's example, I'm gonna meet both of those figures right in the middle, right around $60,000 a year. But that's the first thing and that's the first assumption you need to think of. So now with that out of the way, it's time to talk about what we actually invest in to start generating this dividend income. Very first thing you need to do if you're not already investing is get started today. Link down below, get yourself free stocks simply just for signing up with Webull. And sometimes on the promotion, it can be 1 stock or all the way up to 4 stocks. So you gotta check that out and get started today. And then you can take that $100 and start doing your own research to try to figure out what best dividend income you can start with that first $100 investment. There's a couple things you can do. You can do an ETF, exchange traded fund, or you can do an individual stock. I like to do a variety. I like to spread out my money because I don't want to put all of my eggs into one basket. And that means either an ETF, a stock, whatever it is, I spread out that wealth. In fact, I use multiple brokerages, not just Webull, I also use Robinhood. And the reason I do that is because I want to spread out where my money is. Just for safety, why not? I'm going to do, just to make this a very simple explanation, is just focus on one particular ETF at a time. And again, I don't recommend putting all your eggs into one basket, but one ETF is what we're gonna focus on. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slide on over here and I'm gonna pop up my screen right over here so you can walk along with me with my Webull portfolio. So the very first thing I wanna show you guys is this one right here. This is SPHD. This is an ETF that focuses a lot on the S&P 500 and typically those companies that tend to pay a nice dividend. The cool thing about this one is this actually pays out monthly. Some ETFs, some dividends pay out quarterly and yearly, but this one is a monthly paying dividend. So what we want to do, besides just looking at the quotes and seeing how things are going here, you can see obviously right now it's trading for $39.72. But what we need to understand is a very simple formula to know if I want to make $60,000 a year, how much money would I have to put into this one in order to generate that $60,000 in dividends, let alone the growth. The growth is a whole different exciting cherry on the top, so to speak. So here's how you do it. Hop on over to Google, and then on Google, you're gonna wanna type in the ticker symbol. So we know this is SPHD, so I'm gonna type in SPHD, and I'm gonna type in dividend yield. And that's the number we need to get. That is a percentage. Right there it is, right at the top. You don't even have to click on anything. Man, Google, you are kicking butt and taking names. 4.61%. Then take that number, that 4.61%, and hop on over to your trusty calculator. So on your calculator, you're gonna take $60,000 or whatever yearly income you wanna make, and then divide that by that dividend yield percentage. In the example here, it's 4.61%. So we would go 0.0461 to make it a percentage in a decimal point, and we're gonna hit equals $1.3 million. Now, before you hop off the video, hit the dislike and you run away. No, wait. There's more to this video. There's more to this. But if you wanted to make $60,000 just on SPHD, you would have to invest $1.3 million. I'm going to share with you another calculator that's going to blow your mind, especially if you're still in school, especially if you're young. You're going to want to get started today. Just hang with me for a second. But I actually want to share with you another example. Now, this one is an individual stock, and this is over on my Robinhood account here, and this is AGNC. That's the ticker symbol for this. And this is basically a real estate investment trust. Again, this is a single stock. This is not an ETF at all. But right now it's going for $16.48. Let's do our typical little research that we just did. This time we're going to type in AGNC, dividend yield. Right there it is. Boom. 8.94%. So now let's take it again. If you go back to your calculator, you do the same formula, $60,000 a year, divided by that 8.94%, so 0.0894. That would equal 671,000. So once you get to that point, AGNC could start producing you 60,000 a year. And that's again why I like to also spread out my wealth. Not only because, obviously this is obviously a little bit quicker to get to that 60,000, but also because you want to make sure that there could be fluctuations in the dividend yield every single year. And it's very important to make sure you spread out your wealth so you're not just riding and dying based on one particular investment. Now again, you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, it's way too much money. 600,000, 1.2 million, come on. I don't even have that either. It's okay. Here's where I am going to show you a very cool calculator. And in this calculator, you're gonna probably wanna jump off this video and just start investing right away. So click that Webull link down below because this one is important to think about. By the way, none of this is sponsored, so this is just free value for all these people that I'm shouting out to, but I'm gonna include the link down below in the description to this amazing investment calculator. Popping up over here, smart asset. Let's say your starting amount is $1,000, okay? And then you decide a way to make income. Now, I have a lot of videos on this channel about how you can make a side hustle income, and I think it's important to think about to yourself, how do I get to a point where I can invest maybe $100 a month or $500 a month, or even if you can, start out with $1,000 and then try to invest $1,000 a month. If you can build up your income, reduce your expenses, and be able to put in $1,000 a month, especially if you're young and you don't have a lot of overhead, check this out. We're gonna assume $1,000 a month, and I'm gonna put in a rate of return of 10% because that is actually the average growth of the S&P 500. So why not just use the average of 10%? Okay, so the 10 years to grow, we're gonna say it's 20 because we are 20 years old, and at 40 years old, we're gonna have $766,000. Now, of course, if you would invest that in something like AGNC or something that pays a typically high dividend yield, boom, you're at your $60,000 a year. But what I want to share with you in this particular calculator is this cool graph right here. So right now it's 2021. So now we're at 2031 and look at the total interest earned. Based on the growth, it's now at $108,851. So basically it took you 10 years of putting $1,000 in every single month to earn $100,000 in interest, in growth. But here's where it gets really cool. Here's the power of compound interest and why you need to get started today. If we scroll over here, now we're up here only 4 years later, and now we have $237,000. So it takes you 10 years to earn your first $100,000 and then only 4 years to earn the second $100,000. That is the power of compound interest. Get started today. And what's cool about this calculator, of course, it breaks it down below here, and you can type in whatever number you're comfortable with. And of course, as you scale up, as you start reducing your expenses, as you start making more income, you can start throwing more money into your dividend paying investments. So if that wasn't badass enough, if you're not already clicking over, you're checking it out, you're getting started with your dividend investments, next thing I want to show you that I think is also important, and I'm going to pop up my iPad screen here because this is a great way to track your dividends, and it's absolutely free. Very simple and easy to remember website called trackyourdividends.com. Sign up for a free account, and then you can look down below here. I've already started inputting 2 of the ETFs that I own that pay a dividend, SPHD and KBWY. Right there they are. And so what I want to do is I want to walk you through this. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back. In fact, I'm going to pull up my Robinhood account for this one. We're going to put in AGNC as I shared with you a little bit earlier, okay? So I'm going to hit new holding right here on trackyourdividends.com. New holding, enter the ticker symbol, and I just said what it was, so it's AGNC. Enter number of shares. Now you can find this within your Robinhood account. So if I'm going to click on there, there's my AGNC investment, total of 10 shares, okay? So 10 shares. And then the cost per share is your average cost per share. You can find that right there down below. So my cost per share here is $15.25. and 86 cents. I'm gonna hit add, and then boom, it is gonna add. Now, here we go. You have that in there. There it is. AGNC, 10 shares, all that stuff is good. It actually tells you what your profit and loss is based on the growth of that particular investment. But most importantly, up here, check it out. It's showing you what your estimated annual income from your dividends is. And you can continue to track this over the long period of time thanks to this website. So right now I'm at $178 a year out of my goal of $60,000 a year. I got some work to do, but that keeps me on game. That keeps me on point, guys, so I can get excited about it and keep trying to grow my investments. Let me add one more. This time I'm gonna give Webull an example, so that way, as you look through your Webull account, you'll know exactly what to add in. So I am going to choose a single stock for this one, and it's gonna be O, Realty Income. And so I'm gonna go back here to trackmydividends.com or trackyourdividends.com, hit new holding, and this ticker symbol is O. The number of shares located right here on Webull is 25, so 25 shares. And then the cost per share located right here at 61. I'm just gonna round this up, 61.78, okay? Gonna hit add. Boom, now I'm up to 248, guys. So I gotta obviously add the rest of my portfolio into this so I can continue to see what is my dividend growth. And if you're interested in seeing how I'm progressing, I'm gonna start a whole new series on it. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can follow along with me. Again, none of this is financial advice. You gotta make your own decisions. You gotta make what works best for you. But hit that subscribe button, click the bell so you don't miss out on the next personal finance video. If you enjoyed this, tap the like. Here's some other videos that you might find interesting. And until next time, have an awesome day and we'll see you next time.